The Cincinnati skyline glittered under a velvet sky, its lights reflecting off the Ohio River like scattered diamonds. It was July 26, 2025, and the city pulsed with the energy of the Cincinnati Music Festival, a weekend where jazz, soul, and rhythm drew thousands to the urban core. Fourth and Elm Street, just a block from Paycor Stadium, buzzed with late-night revelers, laughter, music, and the clink of glasses spilling from bars like the Love Bar. But beneath the festive surface, tension simmered, unseen currents of motive and misunderstanding waiting to erupt. Detective Lena Carver adjusted the earpiece hidden beneath her dark curls, her eyes scanning the crowd. She wore a black dress, unassuming but stylish enough to blend with the festival-goers. Beside her, Marcus Tate, her partner in this undercover operation, sipped a soda, his casual white t-shirt and jeans masking his role as a seasoned Cincinnati PD officer. They were here on a tip. A whisper that a deal involving stolen tech from a local startup was going down tonight, right under the city's nose. The suspect? A man known only as Red, identifiable by a crimson shirt and a reputation for slipping through law enforcement's fingers. Lena's radio crackled softly. Carver, Tate, you got eyes on anyone matching the description? Captain Theach's voice was clipped, urgent. The department was stretched thin tonight, with over 150,000 people flooding downtown for the festival, a Reds game, and a Big Three basketball tournament. Resources were scarce, and this operation was off the books, a last-ditch effort to catch a thief who'd cost local businesses millions. Nothing yet, Lena whispered, her gaze flicking to a group of young men near the Love Bar. One wore a red shirt, but he was laughing, tossing a bottle cap at a friend. Not the vibe of a mastermind. Marcus nudged her, pointing subtly toward a man standing alone near a parked car, his red hoodie pulled low despite the warm night. That's our guy, Marcus muttered, his voice low. Let's move. They eased through the crowd, keeping their distance. Lena's heart thudded, not from fear, but from the weight of what was at stake. This wasn't just about stolen tech. For her, it was personal. The startup targeted was founded by her brother, Caleb, who'd poured his life into it only to watch it crumble under thefts traced to Red. Caleb hadn't spoken to her in months, blaming her for not catching the culprit sooner. Tonight, she'd prove him wrong. As they approached, the man in the red hoodie, Red, glanced up, his eyes locking onto Lena's. For a split second, she saw recognition, then panic. He bolted, shoving through the crowd toward Elm Street. Lena and Marcus gave chase, weaving past festival-goers, their cover teetering on the edge of exposure. The air was thick with the scent of beer and sweat, the hum of conversation drowning out their footsteps. Stop! Police! Marcus shouted, abandoning subtlety. The crowd parted, some cheering, others filming with their phones. Red ducked around a corner, and Lena sprinted after him, her dress catching on a bystander's elbow. She yanked free, her focus razor-sharp. They cornered him near a shuttered storefront, where the neon sign of the Love Bar cast a pink glow across the pavement. Red spun to face them, his hands raised, but his eyes darted to the side. Lena followed his gaze and froze. A group of 5 men, all in their 20s, had emerged from the crowd, their postures tense, faces hard. One, a tall man with a shaved head, stepped forward, his voice low and menacing. "You messing with my brother," he said, glaring at Marcus. Lena's stomach dropped. "Brother?" She scanned Red's face, then the tall man's. The resemblance was faint but there, a sharp jawline, the same wary eyes. This wasn't part of the plan. The tip hadn't mentioned a crew, let alone family. "We're just talking," Marcus said, his tone calm but firm. No need for this to escalate. But it was too late. The tall man, later identified as Jamal, lunged, shoving Marcus against a parked car. The crowd gasped, phones raised like torches. Lena stepped forward, her hand on her concealed badge, but before she could speak, Red slapped Marcus across the face, a sharp crack that silenced the onlookers. The slap was the spark. The crowd's energy shifted, a collective inhale as if the air itself anticipated violence. Jamal's group closed in, fists clenched. Lena grabbed Marcus's arm, pulling him back, but the mob was already moving. A fist flew, catching Marcus in the jaw. He stumbled, and Lena shouted, "Stop! We're police." Her words were drowned out by the chaos. Someone tackled Marcus to the ground, boots slamming into his ribs. Lena lunged to protect him, but a blow caught her cheek, sending her staggering. Pain exploded across her face, and she tasted blood. The world tilted, and she hit the pavement, her vision blurring as the crowd's shouts faded to a dull roar. In that moment, as she lay motionless, a memory surfaced, her and Caleb, kids in Over the Rhine, promising to protect each other. She'd failed him then, too caught up in her own ambition to notice his struggles. Now, she was failing again, her cover blown, her partner down, and the city watching. Across the street, hidden in the shadows of an alley, Caleb watched the brawl unfold, his heart pounding. He wasn't supposed to be here. He'd come to Fourth and Elm to meet a contact, someone claiming to have dirt on Red's operation. But when he saw Lena, his sister, the cop who'd let him down, chasing a man in a red hoodie, he froze. He hadn't spoken to her in months, not since their fight over his company's collapse. Yet here she was, risking her life for his cause. Caleb's contact, a wiry man named Trey, stood beside him, his phone recording the fight. "This is gold," Trey muttered, zooming in. "This'll blow up online." "Put that down," Caleb snapped, his voice shaking. "That's my sister." Trey's eyes widened. "Your sister?" "The cop." "Man, you didn't tell me." "Shut up." Caleb's mind raced. He'd known Red, real name Darius, since high school. They'd been friends once, before Darius turned to crime. Caleb had reached out to him weeks ago, begging him to return the stolen tech, to make things right. Darius had laughed, but he'd hinted at a deal tonight, a chance to settle the score. Was this it? Had Darius set him up, knowing Lena was closing in? Caleb stepped forward, ready to intervene, but Trey grabbed his arm. "You go out there, you're done. They'll think you're with them." He was right. The crowd was a powder keg, and Caleb's presence would only complicate things. But as he saw Lena fall, her head hitting the pavement, something snapped. He shoved past Trey, running toward the melee. "Lena," he shouted, pushing through the onlookers. He reached her side, kneeling as her eyes fluttered open. Blood trickled from her mouth, but she was conscious, her hand gripping his wrist. "Caleb," she rasped, confusion clouding her gaze. "What are you doing here?" Before he could answer, a fist swung toward him. He ducked, pulling Lena to her feet. Marcus was back up, too, fending off two attackers. The crowd was a blur of motion, some trying to break up the fight, others egging it on. Caleb spotted Darius in the chaos, his red hoodie unmistakable. Their eyes met, and for a moment, Caleb saw guilt, not defiance. "Darius, stop this!" Caleb yelled, but his voice was lost in the din. Jamal, Darius's brother, turned, recognizing Caleb. His expression darkened. "You brought cops here." Jamal spat, advancing. "You set us up." "No." Caleb protested. "I just wanted the tech back." The misunderstanding ignited like wildfire. Jamal swung at Caleb, who dodged, but the crowd surged, pinning him against a car. Lena, still dazed, pulled her badge, holding it high. "Cincinnati PD. Back off." This time, her voice cut through. The attackers hesitated, and Marcus seized the moment, tackling Jamal to the ground. Sirens wailed in the distance, finally breaking through the festival's noise. The crowd scattered, phone still recording, capturing every brutal moment. Hours later, at District 1 headquarters, Lena sat in a holding room, an ice pack pressed to her cheek. Marcus was across the hall, nursing bruised ribs. 5 suspects, including Jamal and Darius, had been charged: assault, disorderly conduct, and more pending. The victims, Lena and Marcus, were alive but battered, their undercover operation in tatters. Caleb sat across from her, his hands cuffed to the table. He'd been detained, not for the fight, but for questioning about his connection to Darius. Lena stared at him, the weight of their estrangement heavy between them. "Why were you there, Caleb?" she asked, her voice hoarse. He looked away, jaw tight. "I was trying to fix things. Darius, he said he'd give me the tech back if I met him. I didn't know you'd be there." "You should have told me," she said, anger mixing with relief. "I could have protected you." "Protected me?" Caleb laughed bitterly. "You didn't even notice when my company was falling apart. You were too busy playing hero." Lena flinched. He wasn't wrong. She'd been so focused on her career, on proving herself in a city plagued by rising crime, that she'd missed his cries for help. "I'm sorry," she said, the words tasting foreign. "But I'm here now." Caleb's eyes softened, just a fraction. "I didn't want this. I just wanted to save what I built." The door opened, and Captain Theach stepped in, her expression grim. "We've got Darius talking. Says he thought you were setting him up, Caleb. Thought you brought the cops to trap him. That's why his crew jumped you." "A misunderstanding," Lena muttered, echoing the chaos of the night. "All this, for a misunderstanding." Theach nodded. Alcohol didn't help. Neither did the crowd egging it on. "We're still sorting through the videos. Only one person called 911. 1 out of 100 witnesses." Lena's mind flashed to the bystanders, their phones raised like weapons, capturing her pain for likes and shares. The city she loved, the one she'd sworn to protect, felt fractured, its heart exposed in those viral clips. "What happens now?" Caleb asked. "We charge who we can," Theach said. "But this isn't just about arrests. It's about the city. People are scared, and they should be. Crime's up, and nights like this don't help." Lena looked at Caleb, seeing the brother she'd lost touch with, the one who'd stood by her in the chaos. "We'll fix this," she said, more to herself than to him. "Together." The next day, Fourth and Elm was quiet, the festival's energy replaced by a somber cleanup. Lena walked the street, her cheek still swollen, her badge clipped to her belt. The Love Bar's neon sign flickered, a reminder of the night's violence. Across the city, the videos were still circulating, sparking debates about safety, race, and responsibility. Some called it a hate crime, others, a random brawl. Lena knew the truth was messier, a collision of personal stakes, bad decisions, and a city on edge. She met Caleb at a coffee shop nearby, a neutral ground. He looked tired, his startup's logo faded on his hoodie. "Darius called me," he said, stirring his coffee. "From jail. Said he's sorry. Said he didn't mean for it to go that far." Lena nodded, unsure how to feel. "And you? What do you want?" He sighed, meeting her eyes. "I want my company back. But more than that. I want my sister back." Her throat tightened. "You've got me. Always did." They sat in silence, the city moving around them. Cincinnati was flawed, bruised like they were, but it was theirs. The fight at Fourth and Elm wasn't just a brawl, it was a mirror, reflecting the tensions of a community stretched thin. Lena knew the road ahead was long, for her, for Caleb, for the city. But for the first time in months, she felt they could walk it together. The story didn't end there. The viral videos fueled protests and town halls, with residents demanding action. The Downtown Residents Council met that Tuesday, July 29, at the Cincinnati Public Library, where Lena and Marcus shared their story, not as heroes, but as survivors of a night that exposed the city's fractures. 5 suspects faced charges, but the real work was in rebuilding trust, between siblings, between cops and citizens, between a city and its soul. As Lena walked home that night, the skyline glowed again, defiant against the dark. She thought of the crowd, the phones, the single 911 call. Maybe next time, she hoped, more would act, not just watch. Maybe next time, the city could heal.